We are coming to you live from our Auckland Park studios in the heart of Johannesburg. This is Prime News on SABC 3, and here's what's dominating in your leads at this hour.
Mr. Msibi, Sergeant Nkosi, and quite possibly Mr. Motsumi and Mr. Molefe have a plan to sell grabber technology to the Kingdom of Eswatini.
WhatsApp chats of the late Jotham Mswazi-Msibi and alleged runner Sergeant Tshwane Nkosi have revealed that Nkosi used his position within the SABC to acquire high-level security technology under false pretenses. The Public Protector has given the Department of Higher Education and Training and other implicated parties 60 days to respond to damning provisional findings after an investigation into NSFAS. And Electricity Minister Dr. Kgosientsho Ramokgopa says the high cost of electricity is undermining the competitiveness of industries and eroding the disposable income of households. We bring to you the world in focus right here on Prime News on SABC 3. Good evening and welcome to it. My name is Beki Mutumomolete and your sign language interpreter with me today is Novuyo Fihlani. Let us chart a course together through the day's biggest stories. And with that said, here are your leads. WhatsApp chats of the late Jotham Mswazi-Msibi and alleged runner Sergeant Tshwane Nkosi have revealed that Nkosi used his position within the SABC to acquire high-level security technology under the false pretense that the said technology, the grabber devices, were being demonstrated exclusively for the South African Police Services. Evidence, however, reveals that the alleged true objective was for Msibi and his business associates to sell it to the Kingdom of Eswatini.
The WhatsApp chats of the late taxi boss, Jotham Mswazi-Msibi, have shown how alleged runner, Sergeant Tshwane Nkosi, in his capacity as a SABC officer, was allegedly used by Msibi and his associates to unlawfully acquire mobile interception devices, known as quote-unquote grabbers, with the hopes of selling it to the Kingdom of Eswatini.
Now, the kingdom to which Sergeant Nkosi is referring is the Kingdom of Eswatini. And what will emerge is that Mr. Msibi, Sergeant Nkosi, and quite possibly Mr. Motsumi and Mr. Molefe, will get to them later, have a plan to sell grabber technology to the Kingdom of Eswatini.
The probe heard that to secure the technology from an entity in the Czech Republic, Sergeant Nkosi allegedly unlawfully placed an official SABC stamp on the procurement documents.
Mr. Chaskalson, have we had the opportunity to investigate or find out who is this Sean Jacobs that he's speaking to? Because if it's a South African national, then they sit in exactly the same position as Sergeant Nkosi, criminal offense.
Meanwhile, Msibi seems to have a few conversations with different names mentioned at the probe, including businessmen Zayn Umalo, Suleiman Karim, and even Carl Phillips, one of the directors of Connie Links. The hearings continue with MP Fadil Adams expected on the stand at 9:30 a.m. on Wednesday. Kani Mapanga, SABC News, Pretoria.
Public Protector Advocate Kole Gcaleka has given the Department of Higher Education and Training and other implicated parties an ultimatum of 60 days to answer to disturbing preliminary findings of systematic failures in student financial aid management. In one glaring improper failure, the National Student Financial Aid Scheme, NSFAS, was found in a probe to have improperly funded 40,000 students to the value of about 5.1 billion.
The Public Protector launched an own initiative investigation into NSFAS following years of recurring student protests, late allowance payments and systemic failures that have left thousands of students across the country unfunded, unaccommodated or deregistered at the start of every academic year.
The allegation that there are systemic deficiencies in the administration, governance and funding coordination and oversight of student financial aid within the higher education sector by the NSFAS, the Department of Higher Education and Training, institutions of higher learning and other relevant bodies, entities and sectoral players is substantiated.
We are told the investigation started in 2021 to date. However, it also covered events dating as far back as 2012. And these events, the office says, have become embedded in the daily operations of the NSFAS scheme. And one of the most serious issues highlighted is billions of rands in improper funding.
More than 40,000 students across 76 higher education institutions who had been improperly funded to an estimated value of approximately 5.1 billion rands.
Those figures come from a separate special investigating unit investigation conducted under Proclamation R88 of 2022 and reported to Parliament's Standing Committee on Public Accounts. So far, 2 billion of that amount has been recovered.
Independent reviews, including the Ministerial Committee of Inquiry 2021, concluded that NSFAS has functioned in a near permanent state of crisis.
The Office of the Public Protector also found that more than 43,000 applications from students could not be finalized because NSFAS still needed to procure a new loan system. And funding for certain postgraduate qualifications has not been implemented. The proposed remedial action includes clearing NSFAS appeal backlogs, improving its systems and financial controls, identifying officials responsible for failures, and developing an integral plan for the 2027 academic year. Nomvio Ntanjana, SABC News, Pretoria.
To this now, Electricity Minister Dr. Tshwane Ramokgopa has announced a draft electricity pricing policy aimed at supporting industry and poor households. The measures are reflected in South Africa's revised electricity pricing policy, which Cabinet approved for public comment last month. He was addressing the media in Pretoria on the new measures that will be published for public comment on Friday.
Electricity Minister Dr. Tshwane Ramokgopa says the current electricity policy introduced 17 years ago became outdated because household consumption has changed dramatically.
So we want to establish what we call the tariff path. So we want everyone to have some degree of certainty on what will be the cost of electricity, not just today, tomorrow, not only in 3 years' time or 5 years' time. We want to create a 10-year horizon.
The minister's update comes as households grapple with the latest electricity tariff increase implemented in July. Energy expert Chris Yelland says there's too much being promised to too many people.
Another area that the minister focused on was expanding the special pricing agreements with the entire smelting industry. At the moment, this special low tariff of 62 cents per kilowatt hour, which is well below cost, is only being offered to two smelting companies. But the minister said they want to expand this subsidized electricity to a much wider group of industrial players.
The minister also noted that they want to regulate electricity resellers, expand rooftop solar, and prevent discriminatory tariffs. Nosipo Khatebe, SABC News, Johannesburg.
Still on electricity supply matters, frustrated Alexandra residents have bemoaned ongoing power outages. They voiced concerns in an imbizo with City of Johannesburg Mayor Dada Murero and energy supplier City Power. The power utility has been plagued by illegal connections, infrastructure theft and low electricity payments.
Hundreds of distraught Alexandra residents filled the Alexandra Multipurpose Center to meet with local government officials, including the executive mayor of the city of Johannesburg, to resolve their ongoing electricity issues. These residents say there are sick people among them who need electricity to survive. They have urged the City Power to reconnect power, saying they are willing to pay.
We have a huge problem here in Alexandra because even when they start projects, they do not finish them.
Officials viewed this as an important gathering to map a way forward when it comes to electricity connection in Alexandra.
It was important to have this in Imbizo so that we also clarify part of the issues that the city requires from them as customers of the city, and at the same time deliver on what they're asking the city to do.
The Metro has also committed to assist the unemployed. The city has given itself a month to deal with the issues.
We have a proposed turnaround time of a month to fix all these problems that are affecting here in Alexandra. So we'll come back here, give and take mid next month to come and give the feedback to word by word to councillors.
Calvin Dludla, SABC News, Alexandra.
When we return, the NPA has confirmed that it is trying to get an earlier date to formally withdraw the charges against crime intelligence boss, Lieutenant General Dumisani Khumalo and others. More on this after a short breather. Welcome back to Prime News on SABC3. The NPA has confirmed that the prosecution authority is trying to get an earlier date as soon as possible as this week to formally withdraw the charges against crime intelligence boss Lieutenant General Dumisani Khumalo and others. If this fails, the charges will be withdrawn on September 3rd on their scheduled reappearance. The announcement of the withdrawal of the fraud and corruption charges against Khumalo and 7 co-accused was initially made last month after they were charged by the Investigating Directorate Against Corruption, a unit of the NPA.
The matter was already in the process of being withdrawn, as the NDPP had already instructed that the matters be withdrawn. It was just a matter of formalizing this issue by going to court and withdraw it officially in court, because the instruction that was given about 2-3 weeks ago, and then now the formalities are about to happen. But what is happening at the moment is that our lawyers are trying to, or the IDEC people are trying to get the lawyers of the affected people to agree to an earlier date.
The Cape Peninsula University of Technology has ordered students to leave its residences within 24 hours by Wednesday, citing safety concerns. This after a building was set alight at the Belleville campus. The unrest began after students raised concerns about a proposed financial recovery plan for 2027. A major point of contention was a proposed 7,000 Rand upfront payment linked to academic and residential registration.
A large group of students marched peacefully to Parliament, where they handed over a memorandum of demands to the Higher Education Committee. The students are raising concerns about the residence conditions, financial challenges, academic documents, and the proposed 2027 financial recovery plan. The march comes as the university faces growing pressure to resolve the impasse with students. Management has now instructed students to vacate university residences within 24 hours by Wednesday.
We also had incidents previously of staff and students being rushed to hospital with critical injuries. At this stage, the university is in its highest crisis alert level, and to avoid a potential loss of life, this decision was taken.
But the student leadership has rejected the directive.
It's very much clear that perhaps maybe they are seeing that they have run out of options in terms of meeting the demands of the students. And perhaps maybe this is their opportunity to make sure that there's no students on campus so that they can proceed to their steps of approval.
The students are calling for government intervention. Higher Education Committee Chairperson Debo Holeti received the memorandum.
We are worried about the decisions that our leadership and our institutions take without properly consulting all stakeholders.
The Higher Education Committee has been given 7 days to respond to the memorandum of demands. Students are expected to vacate their residences by Wednesday, and all academic activities have been ceased. Yona Makubotela, SABC News, Cape Town.
The Democratic Alliance has urged Tshwane Metro voters to give it an outright majority in the November local government polls. Party federal leader Jordan Hill-Lewis, joined by federal chairperson Soli Msimanga and Tshwane mayoral candidate Selers Brink, made the call as the party launched the Working for All tour in Centurion. The party says the Metro's multi-party coalition has created political instability at the expense of service delivery.
Vote for another political lotto and then wait to see what coalition comes out of it. Do you watch the lotto on TV? When you see where those little balls pop out? And each ball has a little number? Has anyone ever won? You must please tell me. Not me. But that's how these tiny parties treat these coalitions. The voters must just wait to see what ball pops out, to see what government we're going to get. No. We can choose something better. The residents of Pretoria, of Tshwane, can choose a stable, strong government. They can give our friend, our colleague, our champion, Selers Brink, an outright majority as mayor of Tshwane.
When we come back, the Springbok camp spent another day establishing the rules of engagement before they face New Zealand in the first test match of rugby's greatest rivalry on Saturday in Johannesburg. This and more coming up after the break. Thank you for staying with us. The second accused in the murder of 2 anti-gang unit officers and 2 women in Reiger Park claims police had brutally assaulted him while in police custody. Jamal Meyer appeared in the Boksburg Magistrates Court on charges of murder, attempted murder and robbery with aggravating circumstances, amongst others.
The state alleges that Jamal Meyer and his co-accused Regan Collis acted in common purpose. It says they were both involved in the murder of the anti-gang unit members and 2 women. Meyer's defense counsel told the court that his client was assaulted by police.
No, he suffered some few lacerations and bruises, but it did indicate that his chest, there is a sharp pain, so which was the reason why then I had to request the court to endorse that he be subjected to, or be given medical attention.
The court has ordered that Meyer be provided with medical treatment in prison. The Hawks say his medical report will give guidance to the matter.
The allegations that the second accused was assaulted, J88, once he has been medically checked, will indicate as to whether or not that injuries that he claims to have were inflicted during his arrest, and the explanation will be most probably be deliberated by IPAD.
Meyer and Collis are expected back in the Boksburg Magistrates Court next week. Neria Hlakotsa, SABC News, Boksburg, Ekurhuleni.
In your sports news, the Springbok camp spent another day establishing the rules of engagement before they face New Zealand in the first test match of rugby's greatest rivalry on Saturday in Johannesburg. The Bok camp revealed that the feedback from the Stormers, Sharks and Bulls pointed to the All Blacks style of play at the breakdowns and mauls. The Springboks say they need to air these findings in order to keep everything on the level for the first test of the series.
The Springbok camp was ready to share the feedback from the 3 franchises that have already faced the All Blacks on their tour of South Africa. Teams say they experienced tucked arms around the breakdown and illegal disruptions at the mall.
So we're just super aware that the feedback we did get from the franchises that there were a number of that type of clear actions, and we just want to make sure that that brutality or that physicality stays within the laws.
The Boks will announce their team to face New Zealand on Thursday. This is out of respect for the tourists, but also underlines the depth in the green and gold.
If I get the honour to play on Saturday, I mean, it's always good for me to put the team first. I won't be focused on my position. Obviously, I'll study him, but yeah, if I get the opportunity, then my job is to make sure the team goes forward.
It has been an eventful couple of days in the build-up to the first test. And after hashing out the rules of engagement, the team announcements are now being eagerly awaited. Simon Burke, SABC News, Johannesburg.
From the sporting lawns to the skies above, it is now time for us to check in with our experts for your latest weather predictions. Your forecast is up next.
Thank you very much and a very warm welcome to the weather desk. Time for us to look at those conditions over the country. Now, we do expect a high pressure system to dominate the weather over the country. That is why it's quite clear over most of the country. But we do have another high pressure system over the surface that's reaching into KwaZulu-Natal. As a result, bringing moisture from the ocean, stretching it into KwaZulu-Natal. That is why we're experiencing some isolated showers and rain for tonight over KwaZulu-Natal, stretching towards that interior of the Eastern Cape. For tomorrow, similar conditions, those rainy conditions over the coast, stretching into the adjacent interior. Also experience some drizzle in the morning over that escarpment of Mpumalanga for tomorrow. Still quite clear over most of the country because of that high pressure system, especially over Gauteng, the northwest, and also the northern Cape for tomorrow. Looking at our conditions tomorrow morning, we do expect a very cold morning, especially as we move towards places such as Bethlehem. We're expecting a low of 4, 8 over Johannesburg, 9 over Pretoria. Musina also dropping down to 9, 10 your average over Palabora, Mbombela and Emelo. Moving towards the coast, Durban at a low of 16. Do remember we have those rainy conditions for tomorrow. Kabeja at 11. Cold conditions also expected over Cape Town with a low of 9. Starting off talking about KwaZulu-Natal, so we have those moistures that will be coming in from the coast, and also it will be a windy day over KwaZulu-Natal, especially over Durban and Richards Bay. In terms of temperatures, it is going to be a warm day with Durban at 25. 29 over Pietermaritzburg, Emelo at 24, an average of 27 as we move towards Gauteng. Quite clear for tomorrow, sunny day over Gauteng, 26 over Musina. It is a hot day as we move towards Appleton for tomorrow with a high of 32. Cool conditions as we move towards the coast, especially over Cape Town. A bit of breeze coming in from the ocean. That 18 will feel like a 7. So please let's make sure that we dress warmly. It will be cold over Cape Town for tomorrow. Springbok expecting a high of 26. That's all the weather I have for you. Stay tuned.
That is all we have for today, and we thank you for tuning in to Prime News on SABC 3. Join us again tomorrow evening as we keep you up to date with the world's current affairs. Until then, this is good night.